Another one goes down as a result of the Trump-Russia investigation, and this time it is hitting very, very much closer to Donald Trump himself, because Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, has agreed to plead guilty to 8 different counts. And these are charges that he was facing in the Southern District of New York. He has reached a plea agreement with prosecutors. It will include guilty pleas for multiple crimes, 8 counts total, and he has surrendered to the FBI in New York City. He is in custody. The charges against him could carry prison time, potentially 3 to 5 years, although you really just don't know. Paul Manafort also convicted, and we'll talk about his possible prison time a little bit later on in the program. Here is Michael Cohen leaving the courthouse yesterday on what has been, I would argue, the worst day so far for the presidency of Donald Trump, August 21st, 2018. 16 total guilty charges against insiders to the Trump campaign. Michael Cohen leaving the courthouse to chants of "lock him up." These are charges for tax fraud, campaign finance violations, and those campaign finance violations appear to be specifically related to payments made to mistresses of the candidate in order for them not to talk. Now, he doesn't name Donald Trump, but everything we know about Michael Cohen so far is that his only candidate client has been Donald Trump. Supposedly, he only had 3 clients, period, for who knows how long, one of whom was Sean Hannity. Third one, I don't remember exactly who that was. But we are talking here about criminality, pleading guilty to criminality connected to payments made to silence mistresses of Donald Trump, most likely Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. So these charges are not only serious, but these are charges related to actions during and related to the Donald Trump campaign. This is not stuff people did years ago, although at this point it has actually been a couple years. It's no longer people who have nothing to do with Trump. This is one of Trump's closest confidants. He was for years, and these are actions that he took while he was working for the Trump campaign, I guess is the least grammatically ambiguous way of saying it. What we don't yet know is whether Cohen is fully cooperating here. Sometimes plea deals are part of a deal to fully cooperate and to truly turn on whoever it is you've got dirt on. We don't know. We know that he seemed to be saying he was going to do what was best for his family. These trials can be very expensive. According to Politico, a source close to Cohen says he agreed to this not necessarily because he's fully turning on Trump, but because he's trying to save millions of dollars that it would likely cost to fight this all the way to the end and also to limit his exposure. One question is whether the campaign finance charges related to what we now know are Trump's mistresses, how involved was Trump directly with those payments? Trump denied any involvement. Cohen is now saying he was directed by, quote, the candidate on that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The attorney for Stormy Daniels, Michael Avenatti, says this is very good for them. He went to Twitter immediately and said, quote, "The developments of today will permit us to have the stay lifted in the civil case." Remember, he has a civil case here going as well. "And should also permit us to proceed with an expedited deposition of Trump under oath about what he knew, when he knew it, and what he did about it. We will disclose it all to the public." Michael Cohen also has some interesting tweets in his past that relate to the developments of the last 24 hours. You might remember that Michael Cohen tweeted back in December of 2015, "Hillary Clinton, when you go to prison for defrauding America and perjury, your room and board will be free." That tweet not aging well for Michael Cohen. So what is next? Number one, I anticipate Rudy Giuliani appearing on Fox News or telling George Stephanopoulos that guilt is now a relative term. Okay, yeah, guilty, but what does guilty even really mean? Crime is a total sociocultural construction, even defining what a crime is a completely arbitrary. Maybe even the fact that Cohen pleads guilty exonerates Trump in the mind of Rudy Giuliani.
The truth isn't the truth. Guilty isn't guilty. Crimes aren't crimes.
Nothing
like
is anything.
Now.
Nothing is anything at this point. So let's summarize. Donald Trump's first national security advisor, Michael Flynn, pleaded guilty. Donald Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, pleaded guilty. Trump's campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, likely heading to prison, found guilty on 8 of 18 counts yesterday. We'll talk about that later. Trump's foreign policy advisor, George Papadopoulos, pleaded guilty, and the list is going to keep getting longer. We have a poll up at youtube.com/The David Pakman Show/community asking you, who do you think is going to be the next to be indicted in the Trump fiasco? And we will get those results to you by the end of the week. In order to continue draining the swamp, Donald Trump will likely react to news of Cohen pleading guilty by stripping the security clearance of some former intelligence chief, because they're really the risk to this country, right? And of course, if there's nothing to see here, why do Trump associates keep pleading guilty? And I'm convinced that if Cohen does truly cooperate, if Cohen really says, I'm going to give them everything I have, it's going to be bad for the Trump family. And I know that as a sitting president, Trump can't be indicted, but a lot of people in his family can. And Donald Trump Jr., one of the folks at the top of that list of exposure.
I feel like to some, maybe this story would be a little bit off-putting because Cohen's guilty plea isn't directly related to the Russia stuff, right? It has to do with campaign finance violations and is connected to affairs and that sort of thing, like hush payments. So some people may not like it. Maybe they would think it's like a witch hunt. But hey, the guy broke the law. You can't break the law.
Some people might consider it to be a witch hunt. Yeah, I don't know who you're thinking about there. And now I saved this part for the end because this is just huge. This is maybe the biggest part of the story as it relates to Trump. Michael Cohen is saying that the campaign finance violations related to the payments he made to those mistresses were payments specifically requested by the candidate, who we all know is Donald Trump. And that's what I want to discuss next with you.